Hey everyone, it's Amy, the Skinandlashlady, licensed esthetician and permanent makeup artist. And I get asked this question quite often. Amy, I'm really afraid to microneedle my skin. What else can I use? Well, you can nano needle your skin. Now, it's not a needle. It is, I don't know if you could see on my pen, it looks like a disc. And sometimes it looks like that, or it looks like a little computer chip, depending on the pen that you have. And it has several names. There's nanofacial, nano-needling, mesotherapy. There's a brand called Regenerator or Regenerate. I always forget. It has a patented blue tip. So this is an alternative to microneedling. Is it the same effect? Not for everyone. So let's go through of who can use it and who couldn't. So what are the don'ts? If you have deep acne scarring, this is not going to create any improvement on that. If you have active acne, we never want to nanofacial over that. If you have rosacea, you don't want to go over the rosacea areas of the skin. But in general, I do nanofacialing quite often on all of my clients, and also it can be on anybody's skin tone. And for my male clients, I have to make sure that they are shaved, like don't come in with any stubble, because this little tip here can grab on the skin. So what is the improvement? Well, you get really glowing skin. So what it does is this little tip here kind of feels like sandpaper a little bit, or okay, how about like a lemon zester a little bit? It's a little bit rough. And what it does is it exfoliates the outer layer of skin, and it opens up the skin, and then it infuses it with your serums. So we don't want to use any serum that has an active in it. For example, no AHAs or BHAs, meaning your lactic acid, your glycolic acids, your salicylic acids. Remember, hyaluronic acid is not an acid. But hyaluronic acid serum is one of, I got this hair. Hyaluronic acid serum is a serum that I use quite often with this device. Now I'm using my Dr. pen. This is the M5. This is an older pen. So the nano tip here comes in the wide disc. Some of them have like the smaller disc. I actually like this one because it covers more area, so it goes a little faster. Now, some people have asked me recently, does it matter which pen? My pen is several years old. I do like my pen because I can use it if I don't have it charged. I can actually have it plugged in and still use the device. But there's a lot of Dr. pens on the market. I will list a few below. Find one that fits into your price point. Now remember, not all of them come with a nano tip, so you may have to buy the nano tip separate and make sure that it matches your unit. Mine is an M5. This one is for an, I believe, an A5. So different Dr. pens require different tips. But let's go back to the nano needling. So clients that have sun damage, fine lines, wrinkles, people that just want to get glowing skin. Basically, if somebody came with a lot of sun damage, instead of doing microdermabrasion, I'd be doing a nanofacial on them, because I can actually do this on them weekly to help get that top layer of skin off and help to get nourishment into the skin. So what serums do we need? Like all my other services, microneedling, microcurrent, it needs to have some sort of slip on it. We never want to needle on the skin dry. You wouldn't, if you put sandpaper in your skin dry, you'd end up with a rash. So we need to have something that's going to glide on the skin and also push in what we want. So I tend to use either my Clear Choice hyaluronic acid serum, and I'll also put alternatives below. Now somebody's going to say, would you use your Victoria DM peptides? No, because they don't create slip. They absorb quickly into the skin. There is something that I do like to use, and I have these two. I either use my Glymed Stem Cell Power Serum. This is a plant-based stem cell, but it actually is very syrupy and works really well with this tool. Or I can use the Intensive Peptide Skin Recovery Complex, which is more of a cream, but it also works really well with this tool, and I want to push in those peptides. So let's start needling or nano needling and see what it's all about. So I've already cleansed my skin. I'm going to use 2 Q-tips together is what I kind of like to do. I kind of like to use this as my applicator because everybody has Q-tips. And I'm going to apply it, and I always start just like I would for needling on my cheek area because it's comfortable, and I always use the lowest setting. I find that if you use a higher setting, you can end up with irritation or a rash. And I just go, you can go circular, or I go up and down and then over it again. So I kind of like cordon off my face. Now I did get a little bit red because I've done this video a few times. My skin's a little bit sensitive right now. And I go over another area. And I'm not digging into the skin. I'm just gliding over the skin. And I like to keep it, like I said, on the slowest or the lowest speed. And I just go over it. Now, a few cool things about this is you got dry lips. I can go right over my lips. So if you want to have that plump lip, you can go right over it with some hyaluronic acid serum and get some nice, smooth and plump lips. The eye area, also really easy. Because there's no numbing involved, because I'm not really penetrating the skin, I'm just going to go, and I will brace a little bit, right into that area. And I like to, I grab the skin. Because I have excess skin, always pull the skin a little bit tighter. Now, here's a side note. I have tattooed eyebrows. If you have tattooed eyebrows or tattooed lip or lip blush, we don't want to put this tool on it because we don't want to exfoliate those areas. We want to preserve our ink. So just as a side note. So you saw how it caught my skin. It was a little pinch. So that means I didn't have enough glide, or I may have to stretch my skin. I don't go over my entire eyelid, but I will go into the crease. It's not a very long treatment. As you can see, I just break every area off into sections, and I just go around. And I always go into my hairline a bit, because people tend to sometimes stop a little too short. But you kind of get the idea. Super, super simple, right? Now, a little side note also that you need to know when it comes to the neck. The skin on the neck is very different than the skin on the face. And sometimes clients will tell me the next day that they have a rash on their neck. Sometimes it's just the first time that that'll happen. Other times is the product could have absorbed too quickly and I worked a little too slowly. But the neck tends to sometimes get red and irritated. If you find that it's uncomfortable for you or too red and irritated, then don't you work on the neck. But a lot of times it's just the first time that it happens, or the area's been overworked, and be a little bit more liberal on the serum that you're using. And like I said, sometimes on the neck, people tend to push in and just let the unit glide easily on the neck. Super, super simple treatment. Now, what you're not going to see with this, you're not going to see that tightening that you get with microneedling, because this is a gentler version of it. We're really infusing the skin with good quality serums, giving the exfoliation, giving the circulation, and giving it the stimulation that the skin needs. You can also do it onto the chest as well. Now, what do I do after? Now, for some clients, I may go right in and do microneedling if I used a product that didn't have any oil in it. And most of my products are always oil-free. Or I use my LED mask. This is the perfect time after to needle, or excuse me, nano needle, to put on that LED mask before you wash off your serums, especially if you're using hyaluronic acid serum. You get a really nice plumping effect. Afterwards, I'm going to wash off any residual serum that hasn't been absorbed. I'm going to then make sure on damp skin to put on moisturizer, but you know, I always use my skin recovery mist, moisturizer on damp skin. Then I'm going to use a liberal amount of sunblock. Even though this isn't aggressive, you still need to protect your skin from the sun, even on a cloudy day, after having any kind of treatment like this, because the skin is more sensitive. We just exfoliated the outer layer of skin. And the last thing we want to do is to cause any sun damage when we're trying to work on the sun damage. So this can be used anywhere on the face, the neck, get your earlobe, down onto the chest. I really like Nano-Needling. I should have made a video a long time before, and I will post everything below of the supplies that I used here. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My contact information is below, or if you need another video made on anything related to skincare, let me know in the comments. So don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. And if you're afraid of that needle, then a nano facial, Nano-Needling, is right for you.